Well, I am Lori Peters, and I live in the Twin Cities area of Minnesota. I've actually been on the products for nearly 4 years now. At the time I started the Relive Nutrition, I'd been a type 2 diabetic for about 15 years with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and I was on pharmaceuticals for those conditions, but the pharmaceuticals might have been keeping the numbers okay, but they were not dealing with these secondary issues that started creeping into my life. And then at the point, 15 years down the road, I had chronic sinus allergies, chronic fatigue. I had trouble with neuropathy in my feet and lower legs. The circulation in my legs was terrible. And also, I would get cellulitis, which is a bad bacterial infection because of a low immune system. And my quality of life was just going down the tubes. And that's why I tried Relive Nutrition. I had never tried nutrition before. So within the first week, I could tell my stamina was increasing. And by the second week, I was able to quit one of my diabetic medications. By the second month, I was able to quit daily sinus allergy medication. And by month number 4 of taking the Relive Nutrition, I had an attack of that cellulitis, but it was not severe like it normally was. So instead of taking antibiotic, I actually just took more Relive Nutrition. And the Relive Nutrition knocked that bacterial infection out of my body, and I haven't seen it since. And I think it was at that point that I thought, oh my goodness, this nutrition, this Relive Nutrition is bolstering my immune system. And so over the last, 3.5, 4 years now, the neuropathy is reversing. I can tell that I have shoes and socks on. That's a wonderful thing. And my circulation problems have been dealt with. I'm off of 6 of 8 medications. And I am 60 years old, but I don't feel 60, I feel 40. And I'm just so happy that I'm able to get my health back at this age and have such a bright future in front of me.
Well, and you really do, Lori. Thank you so much. It's a wonderful story. This has truly been life-changing for you, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
Wow.
I love my Relive.
That's awesome. Well, Lori, thank you so much for taking the time to share with everybody today. And then we're going to move out to Pennsylvania today, and I'm going to invite on a great friend, Brenda Rouse, who's here in Pennsylvania. And Brenda, can you come on and just share with us how Relive has really impacted your life?
I sure can. Okay, I'm Brenda Rouse, as Amy said, and I was hoping I'd get to follow Lori because I can really relate to her story. With the circulation in the legs, I'll throw that in right at the beginning. I had the varicose veins, and pretty early on in taking the Relive, they broke and rerouted themselves, and it would bruise around them, but I knew it was healing because I'd heard enough stories about it, and they actually healed and went back to normal. My younger sister actually had to have surgery for the same thing. As far as the cellulitis, I can relate to that because my husband Logan, he's here today, and that's a good thing. Without the Relive, we really believe he would not be with us. He had cellulitis in his sinuses. He got it from a coolant at work, mist in the air, the bacteria that had formed in the mist, and he would have outbreaks of staph and called cellulitis at that time. And what would happen is his nose would swell up to the point that it would split open. It would split down his lip. His face turned gray. His eyes turned gray. He was in bed. As it got worse and progressed over the years, he would be in bed within 4 hours, and he always had antibiotics with him. He would take antibiotics until he was well enough to go to the doctor to get more antibiotics. And he would take about 4 rounds as it progressed. of antibiotics. The doctor put him on, at the 7th year of going through this, the doctor put him on 2 of the strongest antibiotics for a year in hopes that it would knock it out of his body. And when it didn't, he determined that it was MRSA staph because it was antibiotic-resistant staph. And MRSA, we know people that have lost limbs, and just actually died from it. We were prepared for him to die at that time, that it didn't take it out of his body. And the doctor said that the next step was IV drips, and, that was all we had left. But he knew the progression. So Logan, when the kids would ask to have somebody stay overnight or anything, he would say, I don't know, we might be dead tomorrow. And that's how he would answer them. He was pretty hopeless, and he was normally a happy man. But when he started on the Relive, 3 years after that, I'd been praying and touching his nose at night. His mother had been praying. We didn't know she'd been praying, and people from prayer group came up to our house. They were in their 80s. They came up to our house with the products, and Logan knew it was an answer to prayer. I didn't, but I knew he knew. And I supported him. He took it, and at 1 month he had an outbreak, and 7 months, but it was pushing the staph out of his nose. So it was pushing it out of his body, and the doctor was very excited. At 7 months, he just put him on penicillin, which was like water to us. And, of course, he took more shakes, too. And whenever the next month, it was Christmas, we went after Christmas, and he had his sinuses swabbed, and it came back that he was staph-free, and that was January 2nd, 2007. It came back staph-free. He's been staph-free ever since, and staph attacks the joints, so he had arthritis in his knees and hands. He couldn't even hardly walk. His knees were like limestone, and they went from limestone down to sand and back to normal lubrication, and he was able to walk with me. He was able to hunt. So with me, I'll be brief on me, but I had been in a car accident. My leg was spiral fractured in 4 places. I was in a wheelchair. I had a head injury, had stomach troubles, and all of that started to clear up. I had the hardware in my leg, and I had them take the hardware out because of the pain. And 6 months later, I was still in pain, and that's when I started on Relive. Because I saw Logan get energy, I thought maybe it would help me some way, but I didn't know it would get rid of the pain in my leg, and it got rid of the pain. My stomach, I used to have to hold it when I walked. I didn't have to do that anymore at 6 weeks. My allergies that I've been on prescription medication for cleared up. The 6 weeks was huge, but I was still left with a depression. And also, I left my job because I couldn't think clearly. I couldn't even add numbers, and I did counting work. So I added in another product for the brain, and it helped me. And since then, I've added 2 more. And I could go back to work now. I just choose to stay home and do Relive. And we share with many people. We love these products. We'd never be without them. I don't have depression anymore. And Logan is happy again. And it's changed our lives completely.
What a story, Brenda. Thank you so much for sharing. And, it just brings back memories. It was such an emotional day. I remember the phone call where you called and said that he had had his sinuses swabbed and was staph-free for the first time in, I think it was 10 years. And, wow, talk about a change in your life. To know that your husband is still with you and enjoying life when it was a day-to-day thing. You didn't know how much longer you could have him.
I couldn't even talk that day. I mean, I was just so overwhelmed with the nurse, but now I can't stop talking because of it.
Yeah, I know. Amazing. That's great. It's one of the side effects of being involved with Relive is you just can't keep your mouth shut because you want other people to hear about this. Have the gift that you were given as well. So, Brenda, thank you so much for sharing. Wonderful story. I appreciate you sharing as well. And now we're going to stay here in Pennsylvania, but we're going to be going out to the Bedford area, and we're going to ask Mike Pry. Mike is traveling, but he has, I think, pulled over enough to be able to share his wonderful story with us. So, Mike, would you just share with us how what Relive has meant to you?
Yes, I'm pulled over here in West Virginia.
Good.
About 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer in my tonsils, then spread to the lymph nodes in the right side of my neck, and then a tumor down at my right shoulder, about the size of a grown man's fist. Well, upon completion of radiation and chemotherapy, the doctors told me that I probably would never be able to swallow properly again without chasing it with some kind of liquid, water, juice, soda, or something, because my salivatory glands were shot because of the radiation. Well, about a month after the doctor telling me that, I started Relive. And about a month later after that, I had went to one of my uplines, had a picnic, and I ate my first hamburger and hot dog on a bun without chasing it down with something behind it, which was, to me, was miraculous, because Relive had restored my salivatory glands at this point 100%. And then I had surgery to my mouth, removing all my teeth because of radiation damage that had happened to my jawbone. Well, after having surgery, I had pain that day, but the following day when I went through my hyperbaric oxygen treatments, I had no pain whatsoever. I didn't have to get a prescription of pain medicine filled or anything. And the doctor that was responsible for me in the hyperbaric oxygen treatments was just totally amazed, totally stunned, because he said the next day when he put me in the oxygen tunnel, he said, well, we're going to try and make you as comfortable as we can in there because we've realized you just had surgery yesterday and you're probably in a lot of pain. And I said, no, doctor. I said, I'm not in any pain at all. I said, in fact, I'd like to take that sippy cup of water in there with me. Well, he was amazed and stunned and couldn't believe it. And I told him what I was doing, and he said, whatever it is, you just keep on doing it. Well, then last year, they had discovered a gray mass in my upper right lung. And I come home and told my wife. Well, then my wife increased my capsules to 20 a day and 4 shakes a day. And in 3 months, I had a CAT scan and went to the doctor to have it read to me. And when I went to the doctor to have it read to me, the gray mass in my upper right lung had completely gone away. There was nothing there to be seen, which was very amazing. And my doctor, I could just tell that he was just had that dumb look in his face, like, what happened? And again, he asked me, did I do anything different? And I told him I'd take Relive, and he asked me what it was, and I told him, and he said, whatever you're doing, just keep on taking it. And these doctors today, they only have an hour of nutritional training in their whole medical school, so he had no idea where I was coming from or what I was even talking about. But the fact of the matter is Relive has kept me cancer-free, has lifted me out of sickness and illness, and has given me back my life. And for that, I'm very grateful and very thankful for these products.
Oh, boy, what a story, Mike. Thank you so much. And, I had a chance to see Mike this past weekend, and I'll tell you guys, to look at Mike, you would never know that he's gone through all the things that he has. He is lively and vibrant, looks healthy. I mean, it's been a life changer for you, hasn't it, Mike?
Oh, it certainly has.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, thank you for sharing, and I want to thank Lori and Brenda for sharing as well. What wonderful stories today. And, it almost sounds like just this magic cure-all. At least that's what I thought when I first heard about Relive, that, we don't make any medical claims. We don't claim that this cures anything. The real miracle is the human body. Relive just provides our bodies with the very best possible nutrition at the cellular level so that our bodies can work the way they were designed to work. And that's, why we have such amazing stories and so many lives being changed like what you heard today. And when you have lives that are changing like this, as you can imagine, there is a wonderful business opportunity for people that choose to take advantage of that and want to earn an income by going out and helping other people and teaching others. And so I'll just finish up the call today by just sharing my story. I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Again, my name's Amy Thomas, and we've been involved with Relive now for over 20 years, and it has been a life changer for our family as well. We initially got started because we were looking for improvements with my son with allergies and asthma. He had all kinds of food allergies, environmental, grass, dust, mold, pollen, very allergic to cats and dogs. He was on allergy shots, daily allergy meds. a daily inhaler, and periodically on very strong medications, including prednisone, steroids. And within 3 months of him starting on his Relief shakes, we were seeing his health improve. He was breathing better, his color was better, and he continued to improve. And by the end of that first year, he was off those allergy shots, off the allergy meds, never been back on those. And he went from using an inhaler every day to rarely needing one, and he's never been back on any of the other asthma meds that they would periodically put him on. It absolutely changed his life. And to this day, he's now 28 years old. He would not go a day without his Relief shakes. And then for myself, I saw relief from frequent headaches, PMS, TMJ, jaw pain. I've breezed through menopause. Just have a strong immune system. I rarely get sick. I've been able to run some half marathons and some marathons and just have great improvements with my times. In fact, my last marathon this past fall, I improved my time from my previous marathon by 1 hour. And usually when you're getting older, you're getting slower. You're not getting faster. So the products have just helped me so much. I call them my secret weapon every day. It's the thing that really keeps me healthy. But, I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I was so excited about the stories that I was hearing, and I started to think about people that I loved and cared about that needed to hear about this. And so when my husband and I took a closer look at the compensation plan, we were really excited, particularly my husband. He's a pastor, and I was a stay-at-home mom. I had left the computer industry to be home raising my kids. Loved being home, but money was tight. We were kind of paycheck to paycheck on a pastor's salary, and I knew I was going to have to go back to corporate America, but I did not want to leave my kids. I really wanted to have the family time to be a mom to them. And so as I began the Relief business, it really gave me hope, and I began to dream again that maybe I could be home with my kids. So starting just very part-time initially, because my kids were young back then, I was bringing in an extra $400 to $500 a month, and over time that grew into a full-time income that's been as high as $8,000 and $9,000 a month. And we were invited into the ambassador program some years ago. That has been a lot of fun. We've been on many all-expense-paid trips with Relief. We've been to places like Rome, Italy, Jamaica, the Bahamas, all over the U.S., up to Canada. We've been able to take our kids on some of those trips, and it's just been a wonderful lifestyle. And I did end up being able to be home as a full-time stay-at-home mom through all my kids' growing up years. And now that my kids are grown and out of the house, this business continues to give me the freedom and flexibility. I can set my own hours, set my own pace. If I want to increase my income, I just go out and help more people. And I just love that about Relief. It's just such a wonderful opportunity to bring hope into other people's lives. And so that is the end of our call, and I want to go ahead and give you folks a replay number if you have anybody that you would like to listen to the replay from today. That replay number is 605-562-3132.